Alright, my name is Ben Karsten. How many of y'all have heard of Michael Blattery? No. Alright, how about Flea? Flea ring a bell? Alright, we got one. Alright, what about the Red Hot Chili Peppers? Alright, okay, that's better. Alright, well, Flea, aka Michael Blattery, is the bass player for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And, you know, he's kind of a random guy to pick. But despite, you know, he's a rock star, he's pretty famous, I'm not at all. We actually have a couple things that are similar about us. Well, first of all, that leads to my background. I pretty much lived in Pflugerville my whole life. You know, I was born in Houston, but we moved when I was real little. So I've pretty much been in one place my whole life. My family, you know, unlike a lot of people, I'm very fortunate. My parents have been together my whole life. That's pretty rare these days. And also, I was homeschooled. Have any of y'all been homeschooled before? No one? All right. It was only until like 4th grade, but it's kind of a different experience for a lot of people. And so in Pflugerville, it's a pretty small town. It's outside of Austin. It's, you know, it's not a real happening place. There's not really much going on there. And the town is actually kind of German culture, kind of like mine, but I don't really relate to that very well. You know, it's not real strong in our family, so that doesn't really affect me a whole lot. So it was all pretty much, you know, not real. You know, it's very quiet, very stable. And that's quite a stark contrast to Flea. Flea, he was born in Australia actually. And he ended up moving to Los Angeles with his dad at age 11, according to an interview he did with Rolling Stone. And actually, his dad ended up divorcing his mom pretty soon after that, moved back to Australia. And his stepdad and later his brother were pretty heavy into alcohol, according to a biography that was done by After. That just had a lot of kind of turbulence in his home. And he went to Fairfax High School, which is it's kind of like, he describes it as the people who are almost in Hollywood, but not quite, just kind of like the back door of Hollywood. And there's a lot of famous people that are graduated from there, like the Sharona from My Sharona that is singing about, she was from there, and a couple other people. And so, and him and his friends, you know, they didn't really, him and his bandmates, they didn't really have really strong family lives, and so they were kind of each other's family. And that brings us, you know, that's pretty stark differences. That brings us to our similarity, which is music. He's actually, despite, you know, being this huge rock star, was really into jazz when he was younger. He's pretty much said, I don't want anything to do with rock. And so the way he is now. He was in band in high school. I was in band in high school. He played trumpet. I played clarinet, which is not quite as cool, but whatever. And also, he's a freshman at University of Southern California. According to an interview he did with VH1, he decided that, you know, he's kind of been around and he wants to go back to school and just see what he's been missing out there. So in conclusion, you know, we have very different lives. I'm probably never going to ever be a rock star like he is. I hope to be one day, play bass for a big band. It might happen. We both really like music, and that's been, you know, something that, you know, a lot of people can relate to, despite where they come from. And so, you know, maybe it'll be there one day, probably not, but, you know, whatever. Any questions?
What's like your actual favorite band?
My favorite band is actually a local band from San Antonio. They're called Nothing More, and they're pretty cool. After that, it's Dead Z, which is Cher's son. He's the lead singer. Kind of a weird deal. Yeah. Yes.
If you were to play in a band, what type of music would you want to play most?
Actually, a jazz band would be really cool. I think that'd be, you know, jazz or funk or something. Just something that has a little more get up to it than just like a lot of pop that you hear, I guess, on the radio. Yes.
Was it weird going from homeschool to...
Oh yeah. It was, I guess, fortunate for me. It was fairly early on. It was like 4th grade, and so, you know, as long as, I'm glad it was before middle school, because middle school is kind of rough. You know, that's when the kids kind of get finding where they are, who they are, and stuff like that. But yeah, it was definitely tough that first year, I guess.
All right, thank you.